Hey, Laura J. Excited to say that I changed my position. I used to sit on the other side of the box, and now I've moved to this side of the box, and I have more green space available to me from this position and the sun too. So that's super exciting. I am sitting here with the introduction to the real story of Rome, the reality of my existence. And I wanted to share it with you and also say that I'll be doing a book launch at the Creative Continuum gathering at Purple Hill, September 7th, 8th, 9th. It is a long weekend, it is Labor Day, and we are going to make connecting and gathering and getting to know one another be our raison d'etre for the weekend. So, by reading the cover of this book, you might presume it's a personal tale about the life of the woman commonly known as Laura J. of the Hamilton clan, who wrote the words you now bear witness to. It will tell an alternative story of Rome to what historical accounts claim to be true. Acronyms will play a significant role in this tale, and faith is going to be part of the equation. These are all correct presumptions, but an added element is that when you tell your story in the first person, the Rome acronym equally applies to your version of the story of life from your perspective. Based on all the experience you've had throughout your life, you develop a worldview that casts a certain light or shadow onto the way you perceive life. People who fear that harm is lurking around every corner are often the ones who meet with unfortunate circumstances simply because they are putting that consciousness out there when expecting bad things to happen to innocent people without realizing some of the backstories of importance as to why our common vernacular is the way it is. Vernacular is the common speech and meaning assignment of the common people and cultural customs of the common folk that we all truly ought to aim to be. And cultural customs of the common folk that we all truly ought to aim to be aware of. For common folk refers to the ordinary people of a community or nation, rather than the social, economic, or political elite. Historically, the term distinguished those with noble titles or specialized status from the ruling classes, and created a whole subculture to the social orders of the public. Yet now we must reclaim respect for the folks we come from, and always remain connected to by making a name for ourselves that is positive, useful, and caring at its core. French word for heart. Bless me. Bless me. Woo. Bless me. Woo. Gesundheit. Wow. Jeez. Okay. Well, I have an uncommon perspective to share that might put quite a few things into context for you. So I'm going to be laying those down in the pages to follow this. And I'm going to invite you to consider an alternative story to the common stories of Roman empires and republics that have risen and fallen with their leaders over the years in ways I will be questioning with cause. In ways that will be questioned with cause, that can be refuted or rebutted once fully laid out. So that is what this real story of Rome will do, is carry on where my first published book, Fully Committed, The Sacred Sojourn of Now, left off in June 2022, when I was awaiting trial to deal with the summons my person had received for speaking at a rally held the year before. Footage had been live-streamed to Facebook during COVID-19 lockdowns, which officers used to identify 8 of us who'd spoken from the stage, and summonses were hand-delivered by men in suits to our respective addresses to face trial. Due to my experience being involuntarily held as a patient under the Mental Health Act in 2019 for nearly 3 weeks, as I shared in Fully Committed, I refused to hire a professional to speak for me when I discovered firsthand the dangers of giving someone working for the very system that benefited from my capture the ability to make decisions about what's best for me, when my body, bank account, and brain would ultimately pay the price for those decisions. This experience fueled me to find a way to advocate for myself without representation when I got served this summons, and a local man who'd been helping people privately to exercise their common law rights in court wanted to help someone dealing with a COVID charge. So a mutual connection connected us, and my deep dive into lawful standing for myself against the legal system began with the help of a man who has become one of my closest friends. We spent countless hours discussing my case, the systemic corruption behind the pandemic that our efforts were directly challenging, and the expanded states of awareness we'd both experienced but handled differently, and how traumatizing and costly mine had been to me. For me. After writing and sending dozens of lawful notices by registered mail and attending 5 hearings where I maintained my claimed position as a woman in my private capacity, with all common law rights reserved throughout, I was separated from the rest in order to face my trial on Halloween, before it was cancelled when the charge was stayed with the others dealing with the same offense from that day in Simcoe, Ontario. On September 21st, 2022, my name was added alongside those on the court docket that day, and all of our charges were stayed, which I received notice of by mail days later. I was disappointed to not get my day in court, which had been set for October 31st, 2022, and while being in limbo awaiting a trial that never came taught me a great lot, getting that charge stayed also taught me some significant lessons about the whole matrix leadership trellis framework that the legal system is based on. What I have since realized is the way that my own history ties into the mythical story of Rome that most people don't know yet, and so that's the story that I'm going to tell this time, alongside the theories that I have developed in order to explain the legal fiction and the Justinian deception's significance. I want to help make the law more relatable, ethical, altruistic, and loving, which is the real acronym we'll be working with herein too. Thanks for your interest in my story and taking the time to reclaim the power of your pen to write the story of your life as you wish for it to be portrayed too. Writing takes courage, and you've got what it takes if you have the desire to do it. To stay abreast of what's coming down the pipeline, subscribe to emails at piwu.ca or visit t.me/piwu group on Telegram. With love and respect, Laura J. Full name, Laura Jean Ellen Hamilton. That's my name. Chapter 1 is actually starting with the opening quote from Fully Committed. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. I'd love to know what this one means to and for you. And if you are interested in being part of the pre-launch crew that I am assembling to do a pre-launch, which could even actually be on the 22nd of October with the Poetry for Peace marathon that is taking place. That sounds perfect. Oh, how exciting. Okay, cool. So, things are getting settled. I look forward to seeing you again soon.